Hi guys, Dr. Loretta here. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a better understanding of your emotions and how to manage your emotions. First of all, let's start by explaining what your emotions are. Emotions are feelings. Sometimes your emotions can be subtle, but sometimes they are so overwhelming. When those emotions are subtle, you do not feel them. You don't even identify that you're experiencing a particular emotion. But sometimes those emotions can be very overwhelming, and that's when they are usually pronounced and they are noticeable. For starters, it is good for you to note that your emotions are not bad or dangerous. However, I know some instances it can feel like that, like your emotions are bad, most especially those uncomfortable emotions, or it can feel like they are dangerous because you feel like these emotions it's going to be the end of you. However, every human being needs the full range of emotion to fully function. Everybody needs both the pleasant and uncomfortable emotions. We need all of them. We need the anger, we need the sadness, we need the despair, we need the fear, we need the anxiety to fully function as humans. So let's take a minute to think about what it would look like or what it would feel like if we do not experience emotions. I remember watching this Disney Channel show called Austin and Ali, and there was an episode of it where Austin fell asleep and he dreamt that he was in the future, and in the future, everything was white and still. They didn't have emotions, music sounded alike, everybody wore white, everything was just bleh. So just think about it. That's how it will be for us if we do not experience emotions. We would just be like robots. And one of the things that makes us human beings higher animals is the fact that we are able to express the full range of emotions, control our emotions, and be able to think like higher animals. That's what makes us as human beings different from other animals. So thinking about that, how would you know if there's danger if you don't feel fear? How would you know to stand up for yourself or that somebody has wronged you if you don't feel anger? But on the flip side, let's also think about it like this. How would it be if all you experienced were pleasant emotions? All emotions are helpful and are needed, even the uncomfortable emotions. How would you know that your boundaries have been crossed if you don't feel sad or angry? Every emotion that we experience are alerting us to something, to some internal event or to some external event that's happening in our environment. Emotions are sending us messages that there's a discomfort, that there's something that requires your attention. Think about the last time you felt a strong emotion. Why were you feeling that emotion? What message do you think that emotion was sending you? Emotions can help us navigate the world. They can motivate us to do things that are needful and are helpful for our survival. For instance, when you feel fear in the face of danger, then you know that it's time to run. You know that it's time to fight. And when it's an instance of a polar bear, you know it's time to freeze. But without fear, you would not be able to engage these survival skills. If you're struggling with your mental health or if you're struggling with your emotions, what that tells me is that you've not been responding to your emotions in an effective way, because your emotions are not your enemy. Why we struggle with mental health at times is because some emotions that we feel are strong, and when we feel those emotions strong, we feel like they are unmanageable, and those emotions start to become the focus of our life and starts to distract us from other areas of our life, causing us to lose sight or function in other areas of our lives and preventing us from doing what we need to do. These emotions can affect our lives to the point that they affect how we live and our meaning to life. They get in the way of us living a meaningful life to the point that we are not focusing or achieving our goals or even attempting them. It is good for you to note that emotions naturally increase and decrease. It's just like the law of gravity. Whatever goes up must surely come down. It's like a wave The wave comes and the wave goes. Emotions comes in waves. But actively working to get rid of an emotion only intensifies that emotion, which is what most of us do. We're actively working to get rid of an emotion, which now the resultant effect is that we end up feeling that emotion at a greater magnitude. Instead of learning to sit in the discomfort of that emotion, which over a period of time ends up decreasing the intensity, frequency, and duration of that emotion. It's like adding fuel to a fire. It's like what they say about quicksand. If you're in quicksand, they always say for you to sit still because if you fight in quicksand, you only end up sinking. That's the same way our emotions function. Fighting or actively working to get rid of that emotion only worsens it, it doesn't make it any better. One of the ways we attempt to cope with strong emotions is avoidance, most especially those uncomfortable and unmanageable emotions. We try to dampen that emotion by various activities, and some of these activities can be healthy coping skills. Example be watching TV, sleeping, hanging out with friends, avoiding whatever your triggers are, be it certain people, places, or things. Mind you, this can also happen with the pleasant emotions, where people are waiting for the shoe to drop, or they feel like they're going to feel worse when they feel those pleasant emotions like happiness, joy, pride, maybe because they've been in so much pain for a huge part of their life and they've lost touch as to what those pleasant emotions feel like, that those emotions are foreigners to them and are strange to them, that it makes them uncomfortable. Avoidance as a method of coping does not always work. It seems logical that when something is uncomfortable, you avoid it because what? Once you avoid it, you feel better. But in the contrary, it's not an effective way of dealing with your emotions. Pushing your emotions away does not work. In fact, researchers have shown that actively working to get rid of your emotions only make them worse. On the flip side, accepting your emotions can make them feel less intense and in the long run decrease the frequency to which these emotions occur. One key way of understanding your emotion is what we call emotional awareness. To create emotional awareness, you can use a model, what we call the three-part component model, which is looking at your thought, your feelings, and your behaviors. Feeling strong emotions, like I said earlier, can feel overwhelming and intimidating. But breaking your emotions down into this three component model can make them feel less overwhelming and give you avenue to which you can logically intervene. So for starters, we're going to start with what you're feeling. You're going to look at your body and pay attention and see what you're feeling in your body. I'm sweaty, I feel my chest pounding and my stomach aches. The second part of it is, what am I thinking? I know sometimes people don't pay attention to what thoughts they have because they say an average human thought goes through 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day. So that's a lot of thoughts, then hence why we don't typically pay attention to our thoughts. However, I want you to pay attention and ask yourself this question. If somebody could hear what's going on in my mind, what would they hear? Say example, the thought is, if I say something, I'll sound stupid to this person. And the last component is behavior. What kind of behavior am I exhibiting? I'm looking on the ground, I'm not maintaining proper eye contact, I'm isolating and withdrawing from people. So some certain emotions have similar thoughts or similar behaviors or feelings they feel in their bodies when they feel those emotions, and I'll share some examples with you. So common thoughts you see with some emotions when it comes to like depression, sadness, low mood, some common thoughts you will see with this is thoughts like, I always feel sad, I'll never find love, I think everyone would be much better off without me, I have no one that understands me, I can't do anything right. For emotions like trauma related emotions, you see thoughts like, the world is a dangerous place, I can't trust anyone. all men or all women are dangerous. For anxiety, you see common thoughts like, I didn't get a call back, I must have done something wrong. There's no way I can get everything done. Even if the check comes in, I might not be able to pay my bills. So, for panic as an emotion, some common thoughts you will see is, there's something wrong with my body. I'm having a heart attack. There must be something dangerous about this that I'm not realizing. And then when it comes to physical sensations, which is what you feel in your body, here are some common ones with some emotions. So when it comes to depression, sadness, low mood, common physical sensations you will see is feeling heavy in your body, feeling like it's hard to move, neck, shoulder, back pain. When it comes to fear, feelings that you get in your body will be racing heart, trouble breathing, hyperventilating, and sweatiness. When it comes to anxiety, common physical sensations you see is stomach ache, headaches, nausea, tingling sensations, and uneasiness in their body. And when it comes to anger, common physical sensations you see is feeling hot, like around your collar area, and clenching your face, grinding your teeth. These are like common physical sensations you see with anger as an emotion. And then common behaviors you will see with some emotions. When it comes to depression, sadness, low mood, you see staying in bed all day, isolating, withdrawing from others. When it comes to anxiety, common behavior you will see is leaving a party early and uneasiness. When it comes to trauma, you see avoiding crowds by shopping like close to the house, not going far away from the house or leaving the house on their own. So here are some other functions of your emotions. So for fear, fear is your body's natural alarm system. Fear lets you know that you might be in danger and need to take a step back to protect yourself. Fear also provides you with a sense of urgency to act, often without thinking, which plays an important role in keeping you safe. Then when sadness, function of sadness is that it naturally occurs after a loss of someone or something of importance, such as a death of a loved one, a breakup, a loss of a job that you once enjoyed. Sadness comes when you notice significant differences in the way of your life and how you want it to be. Sadness signals the need to pull back so that the loss or setback can be processed. Sadness also signals to you that you may need support and comfort. When it comes to anxiety, anxiety helps us prepare for the future. Anxiety alerts us to important or potentially dangerous situations that may occur. Anxiety also prompts us to focus our attention on whatever is causing the anxiety so that we can prevent or decrease a negative outcome. Anxiety tells us to begin preparing so that you are not caught off guard. Anger is a natural response we feel when we have been wronged in some way. Anger also occurs when we feel like we are being blocked from achieving important goals. Anger alerts us that our boundaries have been crossed and motivates us to do something about it. Anger has a bad reputation because it can be associated with destructive behaviors like yelling, breaking things. However, it's important to separate an unhelpful response to anger from the emotion of anger itself. The function of guilt and shame is that when we fall short of a standard, it holds us accountable. Guilt and shame is a natural response we experience when we go against society's expectations in some way. Guilt often motivates us to take the necessary steps to repair relationships or to make amends. Shame, similarly to sadness, prompts withdrawal from others. Withdrawal may give a person room to think about how to achieve personal goals going forward, to feel better about oneself and the future. So let me do a quick recap for you guys. If you're yet to, please like this video. It lets me know that you like this type of content and then I make more of these types of content. Please subscribe also. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and so that other people can also come across this video and find it beneficial and help them to understand their emotions better. And okay, also do not forget to share with your friends and your loved ones. Turn on your notification, that's the bell button right there, so that you get notified whenever I make a post. Okay, so let me do a quick recap of everything we've talked about so far. Emotions naturally increase and decrease. When you're experiencing an emotional state, actively working to get rid of that emotion only intensifies that emotion. So, if you want to get rid of that emotion, it is highly encouraged for you to be able to sit with that emotion and let it run its natural course. Over a period of time, what you will see is that that emotion starts to decrease in intensity, frequency, and duration. I also talked about avoidance being our natural default when it comes to dealing with an emotion. We want to avoid because we don't get to have to deal with that emotion. And in the instance we are avoiding, of course, there's always that relief that comes with avoiding that situation that triggers that emotion. However, in the long run, avoidance becomes damaging and detrimental to our mental health, which is unhelpful because avoidance only breeds further avoidance. And last but not the least, I talked about how every emotion we feel is necessary and important. Emotions are sending a message to us about something that is wrong or that we need to pay attention to in ourselves or in our environment. Every emotion, irrespective of whether it's the uncomfortable emotions or if it's the pleasant emotions, be it the painful or the pleasant emotion, they help us navigate the world. They send us messages and signals of things that we need to pay attention to. Emotions alert us to when our boundaries are crossed. Emotions alert us to when we need to act for our safety. Emotions alert us to when we need to work towards our goals, putting that sense of urgency and importance for us to do the things that we need to do. And when I talk about this, I'm not just talking about it being only for the unpleasant emotion. It could be also for the pleasant emotion. I talked about how people who have been used to experiencing painful emotions to the point that the pleasant emotions are uncomfortable for them. This is where you start to see people self-sabotaging themselves because they do not want to find themselves in that happy situation or in that prideful situation because these are emotions that are foreign to them and are uncomfortable. And over a period of time of you letting yourself experience your emotion, practicing the three component model of breaking down your emotions into these three parts so that they become more manageable and for you to be able to tackle them. What you start to notice is that over a period of time, when those emotions come, they do not come at a peaked level. The intensity of the emotion is less. How frequent the emotion occur is less. And also the duration, which is how long the emotion lasts when they come, will become decreased. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. I will be in the comment section answering your questions. And if any of the question is lengthy enough to where just typing will not be able to afford me the ability to explain it as much as I want to, or you would need me to, then I will do a video on that. Okay? Which is also why you need to turn on your post notifications so that you know when I make videos and post them. Right?